Hello everybody, this is Mithril Zenith, and I have just completed the Realm Reborn Relic Zeta grind. Yes, I have. I now am the proud owner of Aegis Shield and Excalibur Zeta. And so, I wanted to talk a little bit about the process of doing a Realm Reborn Relic grind in Endwalker. In 6. Well, this is, a couple days before 6.3 launches. It's been nerfed significantly since then, but I wanted to kind of just review what my experience of the grind has been, what my understanding of it was before, compare it to the only other relic grind I've done, which was I did the Shadowbringers relic grind on content. As you can see, I have the Blade's Fortitude shield here. Yeah, I wanted to talk about it and just kind of review it. So, if we go to, I believe, Chronicles of a New Era side quests? Main scenario. Is it main? That's not main scenario, so it would have been side quests. Hildebrand, Manderville, Zodiac weapons. So I wanted to review every part of the Realm Reborn Relic grind, give my thoughts on it, whether I liked it, didn't like it, what I felt it could have been improved by, what I felt it did well or did better than other Relic weapon grinds that I've done, which is, again, so far it's just the Manderville weapon, which is buying it so far, and the resistance weapons. I haven't done a Eureka weapon or an Anima weapon yet. Again, I know this is not on content, it's been severely nerfed, so get that out of the way first. I know that the things I had to do were far easier than they would have been if I had to do them on content. One, because I'd have to have grinded the content on content, and two, because they just nerfed how many times you had to do things extremely. So, if I remember right, these are all in weird orders. Like, Up in Arms, I don't think is the first Zodiac weapon quest. The first quest was just creating the relic, making the relic. You got a list of enemies you needed to go out and kill, and a list of trials you needed to complete. There were two unique ones. I think it was the Chimera and the Relic Reborn Chimera and Hydra. These are trials that are only done for getting the relic and pretty much never again. Not bad overall. Pretty fun, pretty easy trials. Just kind of a simple, real simple trial. Not bad. Kind of liked it. A little bit frustrating when you're trying to get on like a DPS job and you have to wait in a long queue. Not terrible. So you do the trials, if I remember right, and then you do a series of just hunting down monsters in a high-level zone. And then you get the base relic. Then you pay a lot of tomestones to get the materials to upgrade it. I think it's like the ether oil or something. And then once you upgrade it, then you start doing these quests up in arms. First we have the Atma. Go around, do fates, get Atma. I don't necessarily mind the concept of it. This is was mirrored pretty much in one of the options for doing resistance weapon grind. One of the memories you had to grind, you either had to do like 18, I think it's do 18 Heaven's Word memories and 18 Stormblood memories, I think. And so you could either do 18 different Dunesky raids, Alliance raids, 18 different let's just open up this. 18 different Dunesky raids, 18 different Rabanastre, Lighthouse, Monastery, FF12, FF Tactics theme raids, or you could grind fates in the area for a random chance to drop. Atma is basically just the grinding of the fates. You only needed one drop per each one of these, and the drop rate has been significantly improved since the initial. I don't necessarily mind it. I was able to get it kind of on average, took about 7 or so fates in the area. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great, but it gave you one task, you knew what you were doing, and you knew when it was over. Not terrible, not great. Trials of the Braves, books. Books was probably one of my favorite parts of the grind. I liked having a set of instructions, like, you get the thing and then it says do this, do this, do this. You can, it's checklist, it's non-randomized, so you know what you're doing, you know what you have to do, you just have to go out, find it, and do it. I like that. I think that if I was trying to do this when a ton of people were trying to do it at the same time, it would have been an absolute nightmare because all those monsters would just be being killed on spawn and you'd have to wait there forever. So I can see how it would be very problematic, but I liked the idea that I was doing specific tasks, I could see them done, and there was no random element. The only random element was getting the right fates to spawn when you needed a certain fate, or getting the right leave quest to spawn if you needed a certain leave quest. But even then, you just did one of the other random ones in the area to force reroll on one of the other ones. Probably one of my favorite parts about the Realmborn Relic grind. Not terrible at all. But like I said, if a lot of people were doing it at the same time, probably would be pretty nightmarish. I also liked how it took you around all the zones in Realm Reborn, and kind of wish there were more reasons to go out and do that in like Norvrant on the Shadowbringers Relic grind. Help the world feel alive. I could also imagine trying to do this without flying would be really, really tough, because then you have to go like all the way into the Sylph Woods. And when I was doing it, I was just imagining, okay, what if I was, level 50, trying to go all the way out deep into this level 50 zone, you can't fly, flying doesn't exist, and then do this fate, which you probably can't solo, so you probably need a team of people, and so I could imagine getting the FC together, doing like, hey, let's all do our books tonight, and then you all go out to these zones, do these fates, do these things. I think that could be pretty fun. And so, again, it's a lot more of like older MMO style stuff, but I liked it. Celestial Radiance. This was the Sphere Scrolls. Okay, it's bottles of enchanted ink. Okay, that's just buying them. Starlight, Spar Bright, Mysterious Maps. It just basically specialized treasure maps. You just have to either get them from quests, get them from certain quests that you do, or you can buy the stuff that you need for them for Poetics, if I remember right. And then you go out, you do these maps, you gather Alexandrite. Once you gather a certain amount of them, then you can bring them back. That part, I didn't necessarily mind. But then the second half of this one quest is the Materia infusion, which I didn't understand what it was asking me to do. Like, I knew that it needed level 1s, then level 2s, then level 3s, then level 4s. I didn't understand that the cap meant that I didn't need every single type of materia, and so I just kind of bought a lot in bulk, and then end up with a lot of materia that I didn't end up using. Expensive. Like, as you can see, I have 42 million gil, so it doesn't really bother me too much, but expensive, a lot, and unclear, very unclear when you needed to stop using 1s and move on to 2s. I wish that there was a little more clarity in that. I wish there was more clarity in the fact that you just need to get that in getting the numbers to their maximum, that wouldn't require every type of materia. That would only require like 2 or 3 types, if I remember right. 2, 3, maybe 4. Like you start on a 4th one or something. And I liked the concept that you were infusing the substats in. So all of the concept around it, I didn't mind, but I think the execution was just really... It really felt like a deliberate gold sink, which probably was what it was, but I think that the deliberate gold sink, time sink nature of it, just removing that many materia from the game, yeesh, yeesh. If you ever plan on doing a Realm Reborn Relic, save all of the level 1 through 3, 1 through 4 materia that you get at random from extracting your sub-level, like your level 50 and below gear. You will be thankful for it. So not a huge fan of this, but I didn't hate the concept. Soul Glaze... I think, yeah, this is just you apply the Soul Glaze, and then you get the light grind. So you have the Zodiac Glass, which you have to look through. You get these really vague, oh, a gentle light, a bright light, a light as a newborn star shines through. And then you have to get up to numbers behind the scenes, which the game doesn't tell you, 2,000 light. I think the light grind is probably the worst part of the Relic, which is odd, because on one hand, you get light for doing pretty much anything that would have been not even on content. Like, you get light from doing sub level 50 like dungeons and trials and whatnot. So it's another one where I like the theory of it. I just think that in execution it's way too much content you have to do per each relic. The fact that it's been multiplied, the light that you get from every activity has been multiplied by 12, and it still felt grindy and took hours, blows my mind how anyone would, push through and get multiple relics, let alone like the entire suite of them, when you're getting like 4 light per trial and you need 2,000, So again, I like the idea that anything you do gives light, you just need to play the game. I don't like that it takes so long to get. And that you have to have the relic equipped, that makes sense. But it still is like, that means it prevents you from working on other relics, prevents you from really doing other things. You have to dedicate, this is my relic grinding time. Yeah. Just do a lot of content. Good in concept, not great in execution, once again. Then you have the special quests, kind of the victory lap, as it were. Just kind of do one of basically each of the hard mode dungeons, as well as get items that cost a lot of gil, items that cost a lot of tomestones, items that cost a lot of allied seals. Again, obvious money sink. I thought it was interesting how you had those items like positioned around the world, where you had to buy them from specific merchants for 100,000 gil each, and they didn't necessarily tell you where the merchants are, but if you think about what the item's called, where it might be, then you can kind of find where the merchant that sells it is. Don't mind it. I kind of liked it. Obviously, you just look up where the merchant is and go there. The one part that really was kind of frustrating, and I think is the most frustrating part for most people, which, because it's never shown up again, is the desynth requirement. So you have to go to a different set of merchants. They sell items that can randomly desynth into the required item, but you need not just that item, you need that item, and then to use a master craftsman recipe to make that item into a high quality item. And then you use 2 of those high quality items per quest. You basically have to have almost practically 1 of each to get that. I like that they tried to connect the crafting and gathering classes into the relic grind to make them, to encourage players to look into them, to make them more desirable, to give them a good way of making money if you're able to get a lot of these drops, make a lot of the high quality stuff, and sell it. I really like that it's tradable and that you don't have to do everything yourself. Once again, it's that randomness element. I don't like things that are super random, and I really don't like it when it's super, super random and costs a lot of money to keep trying. So once again, obvious gold sink, but there you have it. It is an MMO after all. And yeah, Pawns of Flesh, Labor of Love, Method is Mazalus, and Treasured Mother are just the subquests for that. Then you have pretty much a nothing quest, is Dark Materia. And then Rise and Shine was the mini light grinds to get... Basically, you infuse... It's not an Atma, it's a Mahatma, whatever. But basically you do that, and then you get 50 light on it. Or 40 light, or whatever light. And then you do another one, and then another one. And then so it empties you out of poetics, because each one costs 50 poetics. You do a lot of lower level dungeons, just to kind of clear those out, lower level dungeons or alliance raids, and then you're free and you have your relic. Didn't terribly mind it, but it did just kind of feel like, once again, just a get it out of the way, grind it out, kind of a nothing, like a pointless thing. But, you know, any excuse to make people still play content. So all in all, on review, my favorite in concept at least was the books. I really loved the concept of the books and hope that they find a way to make that more interesting. Then I liked the concept of the maps. Maybe instead of the materia melding stuff, do something else, do something a bit more interesting. Though I think materia melding is more interesting than most of what else we get in other relics, which, like with the Blades relic, just, you know, pick your stats. I like the idea, the concept of customizing your stats like that with materia. Yeah, so books, then maps, then materia, then light probably. Although I really disliked the actual light grind. I didn't hate the concept of light grind in the fact that anything you do gives you light. I've heard that the anima weapons do it in a better way, so I might do an anima weapon sometime in the future if I just want another excuse to play more Final Fantasy and do that. Then after that, it was probably the mini light grinds, because they just felt like another extra additional step that didn't have to be there. I actually would probably put the... No, I probably have reorganized that. So probably books are my favorite part, then the maps. Now maybe it was books, and then like the making of the relics themselves, and then the maps, and then the quests, and then the materia, and then the light grinds. Yeah. But anyway, that is my thoughts on the Realm Reborn Relic grind. If you've ever played an MMO and done a really long grind for something crazy, let me know your experience with that in the comments down below. These are pretty much just for show now. They are, you know, I level 135, so they are not useful. Maybe the Heavensward ones are, because they would be best in slot for people on the free trial. But yeah, let me know your experiences grinding stuff in MMOs and RPGs and other games in the comments down below. Let me know if there's any more Final Fantasy XIV content or stories you want me to talk about. And until next time, this is Zeta signing out.